It started as a routine congressional hearing, just another day on Capitol Hill. The cameras were rolling, the microphones were live, and the nation's attention was half turned toward the sharp exchanges between lawmakers. But what happened next became one of the most talked about moments in Washington, a clash not of politics, but of pride, respect, and humanity itself. As Senator John Kennedy from Louisiana spoke, recounting a story from his early life, a tale about working his way through law school, struggling to make ends meet, and learning humility the hard way, a faint laugh echoed from across the room. The source was unmistakable, Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. The laughter wasn't cruel, perhaps not even intentional, but in the tense atmosphere of Congress, it landed like a spark in dry grass. The room fell silent. Kennedy paused mid-sentence, his eyes steady, his face a picture of calm and quiet strength. The air seemed to thicken, even the reporters shifted in their seats. Kennedy leaned forward slightly, his southern drawl steady but cutting through the tension like a blade. "Greater than, ma'am," he said softly. "I'll give you 3 seconds to take that back." 3 seconds. That was all it took to shift the energy in the room. You could almost hear the heartbeat of the audience watching from home as the millions tuned in, sensing that something raw and human was happening in that marble chamber. Ocasio-Cortez blinked, visibly caught off guard. Her smile faded. For a long moment, she didn't speak. The weight of Kennedy's words hung between them, not political, not partisan, but personal. It wasn't just about respect for him, but for what he represented. The countless Americans who had fought their way up from nothing, who had known struggle and still held their heads high. And in that moment, something shifted. Ak nodded slightly, leaned toward her mic, and said quietly, "Senator, I apologize." It was simple, sincere. But behind that apology was a storm of emotion, a humility meeting pride, youth meeting wisdom, ideology meeting humanity. The hearing continued, but the tone had changed completely. Kennedy finished his remarks with grace, even commending the younger congresswoman for her courage to apologize publicly. Later, when the clip hit social media, it exploded. Millions watched. Some saw it as a victory for Kennedy, a reminder of old school honor and the dignity of earned respect. Others saw it as a rare, humbling moment for a proof that even in politics, people can recognize when they've crossed a line and choose to grow. Commentators debated it for days, but beyond the noise, there was something deeper that resonated with Americans on both sides. In a time when shouting matches and viral takedowns have replaced meaningful conversation, this exchange showed something rare: accountability, empathy, and grace. In follow-up interviews, Kennedy didn't gloat. He simply said, "We all make mistakes. What matters is whether we have the character to make them right." That line, a calm, humble, and timeless, echoed far beyond Washington. Teachers shared it in classrooms. Veterans quoted it at local meetings. Parents repeated it at dinner tables. Because beneath all the political theater, this was a story about respect, not just between two politicians, but between generations, experiences, and the people they serve. By the end of the week, even Ocasio-Cortez spoke about the incident. She admitted it was a lesson she wouldn't forget, about listening, about empathy, and about the weight that words carry when the whole nation is watching. And maybe that's what made the moment so powerful. It wasn't a victory for one side or another, it was a reminder that humanity still has a place in politics. When John Kennedy gave her those 3 seconds, he wasn't demanding an apology for himself, he was reminding everyone watching that respect, once lost, can still be restored. And in a world starving for humility and grace, that lesson might just be the most powerful message of all.